Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Khalil Rountree is out of his fight against Jamal Hill at UFC 303 after consuming a banned substance, right? So basically, the biggest fight of Khalil Rountree's career is coming up, and he has to be pulled because of a illegal substance that is not allowed on the UFC's supplement PED lists, whatnot. It's still kind of confusing, like the type of testing that they're doing.
Was it
No,
a
actually,
piss
it's not
test?
confusing. It's like a regular test, but it's like, I don't know. The fighters are saying that that doesn't seem as professional as like USADA's testing. The bottles are different and stuff like that. I guess if you've been going to Louis Vuitton and then you go to Walmart, you know what I mean? Like there's a huge difference. I'm not saying it's
Louis Mart.
Yeah.
We're going to Louis Mart now.
Yeah. We're going to Kmart, right? Kmart. What did the bird say when they flew past Kmart?
What?
Cheap, 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 cheap. You ever heard that joke?
No,
No, it's like old school dad joke right there, right? But anyways, Kmart was I don't know if you know what Kmart is. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well, Kmart was
Yeah.
the store that was like for the less privileged.
Right, it's all the
let's
cheap
say.
goods
Yeah,
and
all the
stuff.
cheap stuff is there.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
so they test them and the results come back. And in the test, there is a substance known as DHEA. And I kind of looked that up a little bit.
It's
the
a hormone balancer.
Yeah,
right?
it's like it's something that is in your body already,
Yeah.
right? So I don't want to read the name because it's long as shit. But
But yeah, you can increase your testosterone like in certain doses or something if you take it.
But
yeah.
My
I
understanding.
mean, I've seen that supplement over the counter in a bottle next to like fish oils.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
I actually was really surprised that because it's such a common supplement in a supplement store, I didn't realize that it was banned by the UFC.
Right.
Yeah, the thing is, like, when you sign that contract with the UFC and some of the other organizations as well now, they're being tested. You have to be very careful
And
of,
what's this?
what's going in your body and like who you're working with, like what kind of strength and conditioning coach you're working with, what kind of dietitian you're working with, like, because they could all be giving you supplements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to be very, very careful. And it's up to them as professionals as well to know what's banned
Right.
in the UFC so they don't give their athletes, because there's a reason why you're called a professional. That's why you're an expert, so you don't make those mistakes, right?
Exactly.
So, like, the situation with Khalil, it is terrible. It's devastating for his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this fight, Jamal Hill is just coming off a title fight. And he was a former champion, right? And now Rountree's going to fight him. That's like contender status, right?
Yeah,
It's like a fight that if he goes in there and sparks Hill, like they could push him into a title fight. But that's all gone now.
Yeah.
Because even if he's innocent, there's still like some kind of taintedness.
Do we know how long the
Is there a suspension?
Yeah,
What
the
was
suspension
the
is-
ruling for?
There is no ruling.
Okay.
He's under temporary suspension.
Okay.
So I guess that's the ruling. But he made like a long Instagram post. Did you get to read it?
Yeah.
We
And
both
you
read it.
guys both know him,
Yeah.
right? So I
Right.
just wanted to get your guys'
He's
thoughts
been-
on just him and maybe how it can kind of affect him as well. You know what I mean? Personally and with his career.
Right. So, cause he self-reported the whole thing once he found out that he was taking a supplement that he wasn't supposed to. So, like, I think he handled it about as well as he could have, as far as like the actions he took. Yeah, I'd imagine he's feeling some kind of way about it at the moment, like really, really down.
I know he, pretty much handled it kind of as classy as possible. As soon as he found out, he contacted, and I think he probably had it in his mind like, hey, if I self-report, it looks a lot better than if they find it in my piss and they release it like that. So there's that for sure.
Because he has more control now of the narrative, I guess, that like
100%.
I have the impression that it was an honest mistake, and I think like just based on what we know about Khalil, I think it was an honest mistake.
I do too. And you know, he's done a really good job not finger pointing as well. You know, and it's like it's hard because honestly, as a fighter, right? Like any sponsorship that I can get, and supplements are expensive. So yeah, using a third party supplement, like that's sort of the danger, right? Is that they put something in, they have an oversight, and then you trust them,
Right.
and that, you know, like, look, this isn't the boner pills that Silva was, you know, saying that he took from a gas station, right? This is, you know, I really think that this is an honest mistake, but you know, unfortunately, he's gonna have to pay for it, and you know, I hope it's not too long, but I know it affects him.
Oh, of course, because he's been open about like, you know, mental health, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's been, you know, he's been through the ringer. Like if you listen to his story of
sure.
like where he came from and how he became a fighter,
Right.
he's battled a lot of demons and like, you know.
And in some sense, it takes away this sense of purpose that he would have otherwise had towards fighting anyways too.
Yeah.
And so that's a really tough thing to not have, because it's one of those things you fall back to for stability, right? Especially as a professional athlete. It's like, all right, I've got something to work towards in like my athletic career. And to not have that because of an honest mistake that potentially you didn't even make, right, is tough. So I'd imagine like of the stuff that was in his control, he handled really well. And of the stuff that was that seems to have been like out of his control, I think he kind of had this like, he was pretty gracious about how he had to like deal with the other parties involved and stuff.
Well, you know, in the statement that he put out, you know, he said that, you know, he was using a personalized, tailored supplement service from a company that he trusted.
Right.
Right. And then they understood his limitations and what he can take and what he cannot take. They accidentally send him the wrong supplements, right? And he took the supplements because, you know, you don't know what you're taking. You're just taking supplements, right?
It's
You're
a pill,
taking like
man. It's
pills and packages that they give you like today, morning, to lunch, you know, like they're just taking it. And, you know, to me, I think Khalil, you know, he should sue the shit out of this company. That's what I think he should do, because this is something that could ruin your career even if you're innocent.
Yeah.
People will say that you're a cheat.
Yeah.
Just because even if he comes out and says this thing, people lose those things. They're like, oh, you know, he's suspended for, you know, taking DHEAs, which most people probably don't even have no idea what the hell that is.
No,
right?
of course not.
You know, and they're just like, oh, he's a cheater. Look at his body. Right now, people are talking about, look at his body. He's so big and powerful.
Right,
no wonder he's so big and powerful. He's been taking steroids.
Yeah.
It goes down that road, right?
Yeah, I've seen some of the comments on like YouTube and stuff. It's brutal.
Dude, it's
yeah.
brutal. And they don't even, there's no investigation yet, right? But him coming out and saying, you know, like that, you know, he was using a company, it's a big learning lesson, I think, for all these other fighters that are taking supplements from these tailor-made companies that are supposed to be experts and professionals and all that. If they were professionals, they would understand that Khalil is a high-level athlete that gets tested, you know, randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you make a mistake and he takes the wrong thing, it ruins his career. Like, I don't know if they understand that or not. Like,
I don't think like that company probably just doesn't put enough weight on it.
Exactly.
And now, you know, like there should be some sort of like legal action, in my opinion, too, because that's such a, it's like not even just one payday, right? This will affect him, right?
Yeah.
For a long time anyway.
Right. Because especially in business law, even if you take the individual out of it, if you do damages to a business, to their image and to whatever, if you affect their business operations in any particular way, you are able to sue for those damages.
Isn't that libel as well?
Yeah. To compensate for the damages or the revenue that you would have lost based on this wrongdoing.
Yeah.
So
it could be millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's lost.
Of course.
For sure.
Right?
Right. And even if they come to some kind of a settlement, Khalil's probably not going to make the same amount of money as he would have had he not self-reported and then like failed the piss test, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, there's two things that in my eyes right now at this moment is Khalil needs to do is he needs to clear his name and he needs to be compensated for a damaged image.
Yeah.
Even though we shouldn't look at it that way, and we probably won't, if he gets cleared, but the general public, all they're gonna see is the headlines, right? And that's it. So let me take you back, right? Khalil's in this situation right now. We have no idea, what's the next steps, what's gonna happen, right? Because he could be in court for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And that would definitely ruin his career.
Yeah, because Maria Sharapova, like I looked into this like a couple days ago, she lost 2 years of competition because she mistakenly had, I think, like meldonium or something in her like supplement list, which wasn't allowed by the tennis federation or something. So she was basically in her prime and then lost 2 years. And like that's a lot of money you would have been making over, like an honest mistake.
Yeah, it's
massive, dude. It's Yoel Romero, right? Remember his situation with USADA?
Yeah.
And they, I think they suspended him off a tainted supplement, and then he went back and like got it tested and and all that. And dude, he won $27 million in a settlement against USADA.
Fair.
Ain't that crazy?
Good for him.
That's one hell of,
$27 million.
that's a hell of a pay.
It just shows you how much money Khalil can get from this situation.
Yeah. No, like, and he deserves it, honestly.
Oh, exactly, right?
He really does. Like,
Yeah,
it's
financially, he could be set for life
yeah.
after this lawsuit if he decides to pursue that.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely should pursue that and, get back to fighting it after he pursues it, right? Well, during it or whatever. But yeah, it is. We got to give the fighters the benefit of the doubt when this stuff comes out, even if they don't report it themselves early. Maybe USADA, but USADA's been doing a good. Not USADA. We keep saying USADA, even though they're not in charge. It's another company.
Right.
The company that does the drug testing, they've actually done a good job of keeping results under wraps.
Yeah.
Until they suspend people.
Yeah.
Because they've already suspended a bunch of people this year.
Okay.
For PEDs, right? Like Walt Harris is the biggest one. He's got 4-year suspension for testing
That's
positive
insane.
for multiple steroids.
Damn.
On multiple accounts.
It's basically career over for some
Its career's
people.
over, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it's 4 years.
But I mean, deservedly so.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
like it's different, right? And again, like I really think it depends on how the athlete also handles it, right? It's a lot worse to be like, I took boner pills,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Who's the guy that was at Syndicate? He's like a old school guy. He fought for the UFC. He also got popped by USADA. It ruined his career too. 'Cause
Not
they just
Quicksand,
delayed.
right?
No, not Quicksand. Yeah, he retired on his own.
Yeah, he retired on his own.
He was a fighter. He was never a coach. But I remember
Okay.
he was at Syndicate from time to time. That's where he would train. Tom Lawler.
Oh,
Remember his situation? Do you remember what happened to him? Tom Lawler?
no.
Dude, USADA ruined his career.
Oof.
Like they.
I was gonna
think
say
he
I
got
didn't think
found
it'd be
innocent
quicksand.
after a
Oh,
while.
shit.
Yeah, and then like they're like, oh, 3 years, 2 years.
Holy crap.
It was a trip, man. Tom Lawler, man. I remember talking to him about that, and he didn't get the $27 million, but he lost many years of his career.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this in the past about how like these organizations, they don't give a fuck about the fighters.
No.
Whether it be, the athletic commissions, it be the, the piss testers or whatever. It's just like, man, when are people going to actually bat for the athletes a little bit? Like give compensation then. I get it. Like when you prove like, okay, yeah, this guy's taken, 10 types of steroids and an elephant tranquilizer for the last like 7 fights. But then when it's another situation where it's like an honest mistake or the guy's proven innocent, motherfucker, you better give like some compensation or something. At least make it so that you've cleared their name and you they get some sort of money back.
Yeah, they don't even own up like when they're wrong.
No.
In a lot of these instances.
It's fucking bullshit.
It is. And it's almost like the cheaters, you know what I mean? They just, it's weird, like, right? A lot of people have this strong opinion of cheaters, but then a lot of cheaters, when they get caught, you just see them training at gyms. Like, it's almost like,
Right.
you know, it's just a training partner.
Yeah.
But you, like, when you go to gyms, you kind of, you don't really think about that, though, to be honest. Like, no one's thinking, like, walking around at gyms, like, I wonder who's on steroids.
Right. Yeah.
That's just not the
just
first thing
train.
that, you just train. You're going
Yeah.
in to get your sparring partners, your training partners, and you just
Right.
get some good work.
Yeah.
And that's not in your mind, right? So,
Right.
it's, I wanted to go back and talk about the 10 longest USADA suspensions in the UFC, right? So let me give you that. TJ Dillashaw was the longest, 2 years. Mirko Cro Cop, 2 years.
Huh.
Chad Mendes, 2 years. Frank Mir, 2 years. Chai Lewis Perry, 4 years. That's wild, right? Like, think about it. Frank Mir, former champion. Chad Mendes, former title challenger.
Yeah.
Mirko Cro Cop, legend, champion as well in Pride.
Right.
TJ Dillashaw was probably one of the greatest fighters of all time until he got popped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was one of the most phenomenal fighters I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He had everything.
He shouldn't have,
Cardio,
he also
wrestling,
shouldn't have dropped down to
striking.
flyweight.
Yeah, I think that fucked him.
I think it just wrecked his system, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like,
But that's
whether-
ego and
Yeah.
like he's a maniac.
yeah. Whether
Like,
he was actually taking EPO before that or not,
That's the thing.
like,
Right.
If he'd have never took that flyweight fight, maybe this would have never been a topic. That we would probably never be talking about TJ Dillashaw, and his career would have just went a certain way, you know, because the guy, he's a maniac and he redlines his body, and that's why now, you know, he's doing fucking 15 shoulder surgeries and, you know, lip implants and eyeball removals and all kinds of stuff, right?
we can rebuild him.
Yeah, and he just looks old, really old now.
Yeah. He aged like real bad in the last couple of years just because I think all the damage, it's like all the damage
Just caught up.
yeah.
Sure.
The
Well,
Grim Reaper just like went,
It's time.
well, Khalil, man, they pulled him from the fight. You know, this fight was on UFC 303. That's the Conor McGregor fight, pay-per-view, and you know he has a slot on the pay-per-view against
Right.
Jamal Hill.
Yeah.
That just elevates everything, just magnifies everything. He's just, that's gone now.
Right. Right.
That's gone, and now someone else is gonna slide into that spot because I guess they got a replacement. And you know, if that guy jumps in and knocks out Jamal Hill, he's fighting for the title.
Right. And
He
then,
knocks out Pereira.
Yeah, now-
he's a champion, and just
right. All these what ifs.
yeah.
Like,
And
I'm sure-
Rountree's probably at home, like, what if I did fight Jamal Hill? What if I did knock him out? What if I knocked out Alex Pereira?
Right.
That's the fight that a lot of people want to see, right?
Yeah.
Power strikers against power striker, and that could really fuck with your mind.
Yeah.
If you're sitting at home watching it all transpire
Right.
where you should be in that spot.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like on some level almost like a career blunder that like you don't get these opportunities. And yeah, it's like for some people, like even losing a legitimate fight or whatever, like I've had people come up to me like in conversation and stuff, and they'll be like those pivotal like losses, they'll be like, yeah, I'll probably think about that till I die. And like, yeah, you can,
Hell
work your
yeah.
way around it. But it's
Bro,
like,
I had 4 years out because I tore my ACL in a jiu-jitsu like training session,
right.
right? Like, I remember that morning, I didn't feel like training. I remember that morning thinking, you know, I'm starting a Muay Thai fight camp on Monday. Maybe I just rest this weekend, and going, nah, I should go in. I should get some rolls in because I'm not going to do jiu-jitsu for a little while. I'm going to focus on my striking. Wah, wah. Like,
Ow.
and then next thing I know, it's, 2020 and I'm supposed to have my comeback.
Oh.
I'm supposed to have my MMA comeback March 9th, 2020. And then guess what happened?
Yep.
Yeah. The whole world shuts down.
Right.
Then next thing I know, I trip on a sidewalk, tear my shit again. It's just like, sometimes this stuff, it's just like a string of bad luck and you just think about it. Right. But the reality is that you just have to accept the reality. Like,
yeah.
it's like, all right, well,
Right.
I'm where I am now, and I'm fucking good at what I do. So we're gonna make the most of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. It's this, this PED situation is always gonna be like this. It'll
Right.
never be fixed.
No.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be, because it's fighting.
Yeah.
That's why. There's always gonna be, like you could take PEDs in baseball. It's like, yeah, you took PEDs, but you're not beating someone's head in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, someone's taking damage on behalf of the theoretical
Yeah.
like PEDs you would have been
It's
taking.
almost like
Right.
everybody's enjoying more because they're taking PEDs.
Right.
More home runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't enjoy that?
Right.
On
Yeah.
both sides,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then like on the athlete side of things too, like let's say they don't get popped for a while, even if they're taking it, and now, all of this because of the improved performance that they're getting, now they're getting sponsorships, now they're winning championships.
Yeah.
Right? It's like all the millions of dollars potentially that they would have been taking because they were on PEDs. Now, if you get popped for it, you're also not legally required to just give up your championship money or your sponsorship or whatever that you've had over the duration of the time you were on PEDs. So like it unfortunately works in favor of the athlete who cheated in that case too, if they can go for a longer amount of time without actually getting caught.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really tough like situation.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, it's like the whole, being honest just gets you nowhere sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
The good guy
It's like-
finishes last.
Yeah.
Type
And
situation.
man, that's really shit, right? Like I grew up with fucking ethics, right? Like I don't
Ethics and the martial arts, like, well, that's what
Yeah.
really martial arts is about. It's like respect,
exactly
honor, all the bullshit that one championship was fucking
originally
advertising
trying
for.
to
Yeah,
push.
Exactly. Right?
Originally
Yeah.
trying to push.
Originally.
But it's not. Fighting and martial arts, it's almost like it's a separate thing.
Right.
It is, and that's why like a lot of the time I'll say I'm a martial artist before I'm a fighter because I feel more like I'm a martial artist
Yeah.
that fights,
Right.
right? Because I know fighters that are not martial artists, and I know martial artists that
That's
are
for
not
sure.
fighters.
Yeah.
And I think some of these sponsorship companies, they know that the athletes are taking steroids and,
Oh, yeah.
and they don't care because they just want the benefit of
Right.
their
Yeah,
their
they,
wave.
They
right?
get the visibility from
Yeah.
like sponsoring the fighter, regardless of what they're putting.
There's
in
no
their body.
ethics in that, right?
No.
There's could be people that have moral code or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.